Okay, let's go.
One of the pairs of exercises that I really like to do is a shoulder press with some pull-ups. I'm using two different muscle groups, so when I'm doing the overhead press, it knackers out my shoulders and my arms, and if I'm doing the pulls, then instead of hitting my shoulders, it hits more of my lats under here, so I'm going to do that now. I'm trying to spin my elbows when I do this, so that I get a symmetrical pull on my elbow flexors here. So when I'm doing it, I'm pulling like this, and these muscles are doing the work there. Like I said, I like pairing this with shoulders. So with this seated shoulder press, I'm actually not going to use a back support, just because it's nice to use the spinal erectors to do that instead. So
how many reps do you do?
I think I'm going to go for like 12 reps. So I've got a pretty light weight. So it's nice to get like a shoulder pump. If I do like 6, it kind of doesn't really give you that pump. If I hit like 12, I actually don't know how many that was, because it's hard to say what I'm thinking and also shoulder press and count. I'm actually not a very good counter. If you ever come and train with me, you'll have to count yourself. Let's go again.
So when you train, you really have an approach to kind of like sculpt your body, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I think I've typically developed chest and lats quite easily. I've always had skinny arms. So for me, I like to make sure that I always get like a good arm workout. And typically my shoulders, they actually weren't very capped, but I've done a lot of lateral raises and changed the shape of my body to get more of that triangle look, which I think looks better. Better than looking like this, right? Yeah.
So how many sets do you do with this?
Sometimes I like to do like 4 or 5 sets. Sometimes I'll go to the gym and I'll just like, because my gym is downstairs from my flat. It's quite cool. It's like a flat, and then there's the gym downstairs, so it's super easy. Sometimes I'll just pop down for like 20 minutes. So if I'm going down for like 20 minutes, I'll do maybe like 4 exercises. I'll do 2 supersets. So if I'm gonna do that, I like to do 4 or 5 sets of each exercise. Sometimes I'll do like 8.
Is it important to go to failure every time?
Not really. I think if you're really like experienced training and you want to put on muscle, then you do kind of need to push close to failure. You know, the literature says that you actually do need to push close to your limit, particularly if you're more trained. If you're new to training, you don't actually need to do that much. You can train hard and you can still build muscle, but without going to failure. Enough of that one. Okay. The way you train is important.
How many times a week do you train?
I think I probably train like 3 or 4 times a week myself. But I've also got quite an active job, right? So, you know, sometimes I'm on the gym floor for like 5 hours a day. And then I'll go home. And then sometimes I might come back out or do some online training. So, you know, I've got a pretty active job, so training 6 days a week doesn't really cut it for me. It's too much, but I cycle every day as well. So I think like, you know, I probably train like 3 or 4 times a week. I cycle probably 6-7 days a week. And then I'm always just lifting stuff up and moving my clients' weights about. So I'm active, that's for sure. If you do 3 or 4 days a week yourself, you're doing pretty good. One, it's not really enough. I mean, if you've never exercised before, or you know, you've got injuries, or you know, maybe you know, you're a bit older and you know, a bit more fragile, or whatever, that you know, training 1 day a week can be good. If you actually want to get fitter, what you're actually talking about is increasing your thresholds. So you can only do that by hammering up against them. If you exercise to here, there's no impetus to push that ceiling up. So if you never exercised into that discomfort, you're talking about maintaining your fitness. If you actually want to get fitter, then you need to push into that discomfort. How hard and how fast you want to do that, it's up to you. If you want to get super fit, which I'm not, but if you want to get super fit, then you have to push really hard, of course. Otherwise everybody would be super fit, right?